The 1980s are remembered as one of the most explosive eras in WWF history. A golden age that saw legends like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, and Greg Valentine captivate millions of fans around the world. They were the warriors of a timeless generation, carrying within them an unbreakable fighting spirit and a passion that could never be extinguished. Yet, what's truly astonishing is that even decades later, many of these icons never hung up their boots. They kept stepping back into the ring, battling with the same fire that defined their prime. Today, let's look back at these tireless warriors, the WWF wrestlers of the 1980s who continued to compete long after their glory days. Let's dive right in. Wrestling Sphere, go! 1. Koko B. Ware. During WWF's golden era in the 1980s, Koko B. Ware stood out as one of the most colorful and energetic performers of his time. With his bright-dyed hair, flamboyant outfits, and his beloved parrot Frankie perched on his shoulder, Koko brought a cheerful, vibrant spirit to a wrestling world often dominated by tough, intimidating characters. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was a symbol of joy and entertainment in the squared circle. Although he never reached main event status or collected many victories, Koko earned fans' admiration through his charisma, infectious energy, and unshakable enthusiasm. Often tasked with facing rising stars to help build their momentum, Koko always played his role perfectly, elevating others while leaving a lasting impression himself. His professionalism and dedication made him a memorable figure in WWF history. Outside the ring, Koko also showcased his musical side, performing the theme song on WWF's iconic Piledriver album, one of the rare moments when music and wrestling truly blended during that era. After departing WWF in the mid-1990s, he continued his career in the American Wrestling Federation and made occasional appearances in WWE and TNA special events. Even by 2017, Koko B. Ware retained the same joyful spirit and colorful style that made him a fan favorite decades earlier. Whenever he stepped into independent promotions, he brought the same high energy, dazzling attire, and trademark smile, as if time had stood still. Though he never held a major championship, Koko B. Ware remains a shining example of pure passion, showmanship, and the enduring heart of wrestling's golden generation. 2. Greg, the Hammer Valentine. During the 1980s WWF boom, Greg, the Hammer Valentine was one of the most feared and respected names in the ring. Known for his punishing style, heavy strikes, and remarkable toughness, Valentine embodied the spirit of the Iron Men of wrestling, warriors willing to endure any pain to prove their mettle. His devastating figure-4 leg lock became one of the most iconic and feared submission moves of the era. After achieving major success in WWF, including reigns as Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion, Valentine showed no signs of slowing down. Even after his prime years, he continued to wrestle across the United States throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, keeping the old-school WWF spirit alive for new generations of fans. What made Valentine truly admirable was his relentless dedication. Well into his 60s, the Hammer was still stepping into the ring, not for fame or fortune, but for the love of the sport. He performed in small arenas, independent promotions, and local venues, driven simply by the thrill of competition and the crowd's roar. For him, wrestling wasn't just a profession, it was a lifelong calling. By 2017, Greg Valentine was still competing, proving that his warrior spirit never faded. Though time had taken some of his speed and strength, his grit and resilience remained unmatched. Greg, the Hammer Valentine, stands as more than a legend of wrestling's golden age. He is living proof of unwavering loyalty to the craft, the fans, and the passion that defined his life. 3. Demolition. When talking about the golden era of WWF in the late 1980s, it's impossible to forget Demolition, the tag team known for their fierce, intimidating presence and unforgettable charisma. The group debuted in 1987 with the original duo of Axe and Smash, Randy Colley, though Colley was soon replaced by Barry Darsow, who helped solidify the team's iconic image that fans still remember today. With striking black and red face paint, spiked shoulder armor, and a brutal fighting style, Demolition didn't just look dominant, they were dominant, reigning over the tag team division for years. Their blend of raw power, teamwork, and showmanship helped them set a record as the longest-reigning WWF Tag Team Champions of their time, a feat that electrified fans every time they stormed into the arena. Yet, that dominance didn't last forever. When Crush joined the team as a third member, the chemistry began to falter. Around the same time, Bill Eadie, Axe, developed health issues in 1990, leading to a noticeable decline in their performance. By 1991, Demolition disbanded, closing one of the most memorable chapters in tag team wrestling history. Still, the legacy of Demolition didn't fade away. After leaving WWF, Axe continued wrestling on the independent circuit under the name Axis the Demolisher, teaming up with former member Randy Colley and wrestler Richard Charland, who went by Blast. In 2007, after more than a decade apart, Axe and Smash reunited at the Meet the Legends event in Windsor, Ontario, thrilling fans who had witnessed their glory days. They continued to make appearances at small promotions, keeping their passion for wrestling alive until their final match on May 7, 2017, when Demolition faced the Freak Nation at Great North Wrestling in Kingston, Ontario. Even after all these years, the spirit of Demolition still lives on in the hearts of WWE fans everywhere. 4. Tito Santana. During the golden age of WWF in the 1980s, Tito Santana was one of the most beloved superstars among fans. He first joined WWF in 1979, but his real breakout came after returning in 1982. Known for his technical skills, endurance, and strong connection with the crowd, Santana made history as the first Mexican-American to win the Intercontinental Championship, paving the way for future Latino stars in WWE. After a brief hiatus, Santana returned to team up with Rick Martel to form Strike Force, a fast-paced and energetic duo that captured the WWF Tag Team Championship. However, their partnership ended dramatically in 1989 when Martel turned heel and reinvented himself as the Model, leading to the team's breakup. Santana remained a respected babyface, continuing his pursuit of the Intercontinental title, even reaching the finals of the 1990 IC tournament before falling short. Not long after, he adopted the El Matador persona, a colorful, energetic Spanish bullfighter. Although this gimmick gradually pushed him into the mid-card scene, Santana continued to give his all until departing WWF in 1993. He went on to compete in ECW, the American Wrestling Federation, and even returned to WWF in the late 1990s as a commentator. Outside the ring, Santana opened a barbershop in New Jersey and later became a physical education teacher at Smalley Elementary School, all while continuing to make special appearances at independent wrestling events. In 2004, he was rightfully inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, honoring his enduring contributions to the sport. In early 2017, now in his 60s, Tito Santana stepped back into the ring as El Matador once again at Pro Wrestling Syndicate, facing Mantar. Despite the passage of time, his spirit, determination, and love for wrestling remained as strong as ever, the mark of a true legend. 5. The Powers of Pain. In the wrestling scene of the late 1980s, the Powers of Pain, consisting of the Warlord and the Barbarian, were one of the most physically imposing tag teams around. Yet throughout their careers, they were often labeled as the Road Warriors imitators due to their strikingly similar look and style. From the intimidating face paint and mohawk hairstyles to the spiked shoulder pads, their presentation instantly reminded fans of the legendary duo from Jim Crockett Promotions. In truth, many believed Vince McMahon signed them to WWF in hopes of recreating the Road Warriors' success. What most people didn't realize, however, was that the Powers of Pain already had that image before joining WWF, and had even battled the Road Warriors in heated matches back in Jim Crockett Promotions. Upon arriving in WWF, they quickly caught attention with their massive physiques, brute strength, and impressive coordination. Though they never captured the Tag Team Championship, they were still regarded as a formidable force that few dared to underestimate. After parting ways to pursue singles careers, both the Warlord and the Barbarian carved out their own paths in WWF and other promotions. While their solo runs never quite reached the same heights as their tag team days, their passion for wrestling never faded. In 2005, the two surprisingly reunited at Gladiator Championship Wrestling and later appeared at Chikara, where they shared the ring once again with their old rivals, Demolition, a moment that rekindled memories of their legendary clashes. Even well into their 50s, both men maintained their powerful physiques and warrior-like aura. By 2017, the Powers of Pain were still performing at independent shows, proving that for them, professional wrestling wasn't just a career, it was a lifelong calling. 6. Marty Jannetty. Marty Jannetty, a name forever linked to one of the most popular tag teams of the 1980s, the Rockers. Alongside Shawn Michaels, Jannetty brought fans high-flying action, explosive energy, and unmatched chemistry inside the ring. Their dynamic style made them icons of WWF's golden age. When the team split, Many expected Jannetty to rise as a single star, but fate had other plans. While Shawn Michaels ascended to legendary status, Jannetty found himself struggling to reclaim the spotlight. Even so, he was far from forgotten. Jannetty had his moment of glory when he captured the Intercontinental Championship, a significant achievement for a performer often overshadowed by his former partner. However, his career was frequently interrupted by personal troubles, backstage issues, and inconsistent appearances that kept him from maintaining long-term momentum. Yet, as the saying goes, rock and roll never dies, and neither did Marty Jannetty's spirit. After leaving WWF, he continued performing across independent promotions, from Chikara Pro Wrestling to 3PW. Although age and injuries slowed him down, Jannetty's every appearance still carried a spark of nostalgia, a vivid reminder of wrestling's electrifying 1980s. Marty Jannetty may never have reached the same heights as Shawn Michaels, but his legacy remains one of resilience and passion. He was, and always will be, a fighter who refused to give up, a true rocker whose flame has never gone out. 7. Bushwhacker Luke. During the 1980s and early 1990s, the Bushwhackers, made up of Luke and Butch, became one of the most beloved and entertaining tag teams in WWF history. While they didn't collect as many titles as powerhouse teams like Demolition or the Hart Foundation, they won the crowd's hearts with their quirky charm, boundless energy, and comedic antics. Their signature entrance, swinging their arms wildly as they marched to the ring, became an iconic image that millions of fans still remember today. The Bushwhackers joined the WWF in 1988 and quickly became fan favorites, especially among younger audiences. Without relying on flashy moves or brutal tactics, they entertained fans through humor and pure enthusiasm. The duo remained with the WWF for nearly 8 years, leaving in 1996 after creating countless memorable moments in company history. Their contribution was later honored when they were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2015, a testament to the joy and laughter they brought to the wrestling world. After their WWF run, Luke and Butch reunited for the Heroes of Wrestling event, where they faced the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. Although the match is often criticized as one of the most infamous in wrestling history, it still showcased their dedication and passion, two veterans who always gave their all for the fans. Unfortunately, Butch was forced to retire in 2001 due to a severe neck injury, leaving Luke to continue the journey alone. Despite his age, Luke has never strayed far from the ring, frequently appearing at independent shows and nostalgia events. In recent years, he even competed in Ultimate Championship Wrestling, proving that for Bushwhacker Luke, the roar of the crowd remains impossible to walk away from. 8. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the embodiment of American spirit in the hearts of fans throughout the 1980s. With his trademark 2x4 wooden plank in hand, the stars and stripes waving proudly behind him, and his signature battle cry "Ho!" echoing through the arena, Duggan was more than just a wrestler. He was the personification of courage and patriotism in the ring. His powerful yet straightforward fighting style, along with his unwavering determination, made him one of the most beloved superstars of that golden era. Duggan etched his name into history in 1988 when he became the very first winner of the WWF Royal Rumble, a milestone still remembered by fans to this day. Though he never held many major championships, his dedication, charisma, and undeniable connection with the crowd made him an unforgettable figure in professional wrestling. He remained with WWF until 1993 before joining WCW, where he continued portraying the proud American hero, battling villainous characters who stood against his ideals. Even after WCW's closure, Duggan refused to hang up his boots. He appeared in the early days of TNA and made several comebacks to WWE, bringing with him the same energy and never-say-die attitude that defined his career. Remarkably, even in 2012, well into his 50s, Duggan continued competing on the independent circuit, fueled by an undying passion for the sport. By 2017, fans could still see Hacksaw Jim Duggan proudly raising his 2x4 and shouting "Ho!" just as he did decades earlier, a living symbol of WWF's golden age. For him, wrestling was never just a job, it was a way of life, a reflection of unwavering spirit and national pride, exactly what made him a true American hero in the eyes of millions. 9. The Honky Tonk Man. Wayne Ferris, cousin of wrestling legend Jerry Lawler, forever cemented his legacy in WWF history through his unforgettable character, the Honky Tonk Man. A brash, exaggerated parody of Elvis Presley, he strutted into the spotlight with slicked back hair, flashy jumpsuits, and a guitar always at his side. As one of the most entertaining villains of the 1980s, his arrogant attitude both infuriated and fascinated fans. Yet behind the glitz and swagger, Honky Tonk Man made real history, holding the Intercontinental Championship for a record-breaking 1 year, 2 months, and 27 days, a feat that stood unmatched for decades. After his legendary title reign ended, Honky Tonk Man teamed up with Greg, the Hammer Valentine to form Rhythm and Blues, a music-inspired tag team that blended comedy with showmanship. Though the duo never reached the heights of his solo success, they remained a memorable part of WWF's late 80s entertainment era before Honky Tonk Man left the company in 1991. Ferris didn't limit himself to wrestling alone. He explored new roles as a manager and commentator, even managing Billy Gunn during his rockabilly phase. While he gradually stepped away from the mainstream spotlight, his love for wrestling never faded. He continued touring the independent circuit, performing, and meeting fans around the world, always staying true to the rhythm that made him famous. In a 2016 interview, he revealed that WWE had invited him to join the Hall of Fame back in 2010, but he declined at the time, saying he wasn't ready yet. Even after 17 more years of competing independently, including appearances at Impact Pro Wrestling in New Zealand, the Honky Tonk Man proved that wrestling and rock and roll were inseparable parts of his life. 10. Brutus, the Barber Beefcake. In the vibrant world of 1980s WWF, Brutus, the Barber Beefcake stood out as one of the most colorful and entertaining personalities of his era. With flamboyant hair, flashy outfits, and a mix of power and comedy in his performances, Beefcake captured the attention of fans everywhere. Joining WWF in 1987, he quickly gained popularity as a close ally of Hulk Hogan, with the duo often teaming up for explosive, crowd-pleasing matches that lit up arenas across the country. His transformation into the Barber became the defining moment of his career. After every victory, Beefcake would theatrically cut his defeated opponent's hair right in the middle of the ring, turning it into a signature ritual that delighted fans. With scissors in hand, a confident grin, and his unmistakable zebra-striped attire, Beefcake wasn't just a wrestler. He was an entertainer who knew exactly how to keep the audience on their feet. After leaving WWF, Beefcake joined WCW, where he was forced to abandon the Barber persona due to trademark rights. Still, he reinvented himself through a series of new characters, the Zodiac, the Booty Man, and the Disciple, the latter seeing him reunited with Hogan as part of the NWO faction. While none of these roles reached the same level of fame as his WWF days, Beefcake continued to stand out for his creativity, charisma, and refusal to fade away. Even into the 2000s, long past his prime years, Brutus the Barber Beefcake remained active in the independent wrestling scene, bringing his iconic shears and trademark swagger to nostalgic crowds. His enduring passion and showmanship proved that the fire inside him never dimmed. For fans, Beefcake isn't just a relic of the past. He's a living symbol of the over-the-top energy and resilience that defined the legends of the 1980s. 11. Nikolai Volkov. Among the enduring icons of WWF's golden era, Nikolai Volkov stands out not just for his strength, but for his unforgettable portrayal of the classic foreign villain character that defined wrestling in that time. He began his career in the 1960s under Vince McMahon Sr., when the company was still known as the WWF, quickly gaining attention through his fierce battles against the legendary Bruno Sammartino in the 1970s. With his massive build and intimidating presence, Volkov became a fixture in many of the era's most intense matches. By 1984, he made a dramatic return to the WWF and teamed up with the Iron Sheik, forming one of the most notorious heel tag teams of the 1980s. The duo became infamous for their bold entrances, especially when Volkov proudly sang the Soviet national anthem, drawing loud boos and jeers from American audiences. Their partnership brought them mainstream success, culminating in a WWF Tag Team Championship reign that marked the peak of Volkov's career. Later, he joined forces with Boris Zhukov to create the Bolsheviks, though their success was short-lived. After the team disbanded, Volkov surprised fans by reinventing himself as a pro-American babyface, a transformation that briefly earned him cheers before he stepped back from the spotlight. He returned to WWF full-time once more as a member of the $1 Million Corporation before gradually transitioning to a backstage and ambassadorial role, occasionally appearing in tribute shows and special events celebrating wrestling legends. In 2005, Nikolai Volkov was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a fitting recognition for his decades of dedication to professional wrestling. Even in his later years, his passion for the sport never faded. In 2017, At the remarkable age of 69, Volkov stepped into the ring once again, facing Paul Rosenberg at a Great North Wrestling event. For him, wrestling was never just a career, it was his life. These legends have proven that true passion knows no age. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next amazing stories from Wrestling Sphere.